Today, we're heading to Geneva's highest point, up the many, many, many stairs of a tower with breathtaking views of the lake and mountains. This is where we'll uncover how heat meets precision and cheese.
Welcome! And we're here with two of our very good friends, Pierre Jacques, the CEO of Bethune, and Jorg Hysek Jr. Two men, one passion, and one fondue.
Welcome to Time to Taste. So I'm Lara Poppy, and this is Dylan Beth. We're in Geneva today, and we're about to have a fondue with our wonderful friends from the Bethune, Pierre and Jorg.
Thank you so much, Pierre, for hosting us in your incredible medieval tower.
Welcome.
It's an incredible story you were telling me, but I'm sure you're going to be able to explain it and give the history of the place. And thank you for putting this wonderful meal on. So we're very excited to actually have my first fondue that I'm involved in from scratch, you know. Usually it's a blur when we have it at Waters and Wonders. So yeah, right. This is a nice change from that.
We're definitely having the most Swiss traditional moment with beautiful Lake Geneva behind us, Lake Léman. So I hear that you're very traditionally Swiss, not only with watchmaking, but you're also involved in Swiss foods.
Yes, especially in Swiss cheese from Lauberson, 200 meters from the factory. There is a cheese factory who produces probably the best fondue mix. It's a moitié-moitié, half Gruyère and half Vacherin. Came directly from Lauberson. And let's enjoy this fondue. First, try to make it on the right way, and then to enjoy it.
I am so excited to dive in and to taste this very special fondue. I'm Swiss. I grew up in Switzerland, and I know there's a few different ways you can make the fondue that makes it to each family their own. So I'm excited to see if you put garlic, if you don't, how much you put, how long you let the wine steam.
So let's discover the way we prepare fondue. So for that, I will be assisted by the famous Jorg, that is the best cooker that I know.
As I always
do.
Yeah.
You enjoy cooking a lot.
I do.
Really?
Yeah, we do enjoy cooking, but it's true that for fondue, I leave it to the master.
So shall we sit down, have some wine, and perhaps give us a little bit of background on this incredible tower and how it came into your possession?
Okay, so let's sit first. So let's say that this tower is a kind of piece of history for the Canton de Genève. The story of this tower is really interesting. As you can notice in the entrance, probably you see the date, two dates important, 1602, 1902. And 1602 in Geneva is the year when Geneva were invaded by the Savoyards. So it's a date of... Exactly. It's, the escalade. So, and 1902 is the date this tower was built. So it was to celebrate the 300th anniversary of this important event when the Geneva people won this battle. And we chased bad French from Geneva, bad Savoyard. So anyway, it's why it's a high tower. It's like a tour de vigie that you can check from the up of the tower. If maybe there's any Savoyard try to come back to invade again the city. So second point of this tower is the highest spot in the Canton de Genève. Here we had 28 meters higher from the ground, but already here in the territory of colony, the High of Colony and Vendôme, is the highest part from the Geneva area. Then you add 28 meters, is the highest spot. And it's not by coincidence that the Radio Télévision Suisse Romande, RTS, they choose this tower in 1958 to install the first antenna for TV, radio, television antenna. So in 1958, here on the top, you had the first antenna from all the
You're
Lemanic region.
responsible of whether or not I get to watch TV in the evening.
Yes, that time. On my channel, I was not
changing the program.
He's changing my channel.
my channel. I was not born yet in 1958. And the very funny story about that is that it was the student from the École de Physique in Geneva. They was in charge of this technical program and installation of this antenna. And the day when the team from Fribourg or Bern, I don't remember, came here to diffuse the first program, TV program, the students were in a vendeur in the village drinking beer, and they was probably completely fucked up, and the door of the tower was closed. 1958, you can imagine, there was not a cell phone, so they didn't
Communicate.
They didn't meet each other. So the first program was postponed for 1 week after. So if you look on the website of the Radio Télévision Suisse Romande, today, if you Google Tour de la Ripa, you will have access to the full story of this tower. So it's a piece of history.
So this place is historic, not
It's
just
a historical place.
you know, a place of lookout, but it's also historic for the parties and the debauchery that also happened in here.
Yes,
Still happens.
Still happens today.
Clearly. Talking about debauchery, would you be kind enough to open another bottle
Of course,
of
that's
something?
well,
And
it's
also-
white wine.
to continue, and this kind of construction in the 19th century and early 20th century, it was very common. It's not a real medieval tower. Let's say that it's a replica, but in the 19th century and early 20th century, it was very common for the bourgeoisie to have a medieval element in their garden or in their property. It was something like the chic of the chic at that time. Now it could be look a little bit kitsch, but kind of kitsch. But
We would never.
So then, short story.
A brilliant story. Well, thank you so much for sharing, and a salute to this one.
Okay. Cheers. Welcome. Cheers. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers.
So tell us the stages of making the fondue. What's the first step?
You have a different step. First step is garlic.
Okay.
So you have to take one piece of garlic and
Rub it in the...
rub it on the caclon.
Want me to start with the garlic?
Thank you.
Okay, we do it.
Clearly working.
Yeah. Oh, there. Second stage, you need to have a small recipe.
How many goose dye?
I think one, it will be fine. Very important element is maizena. Traditional fondue should have maizena. That is, it will make that your fondue will not be too liquid. You just put everything.
It's like a sauce
Like a thickener, like a
thickener.
mix.
Yes, exactly.
It gives that a gloopy consistency.
Well, gloopy?
And a very important element, third element, is the kirsch. So Swiss kirsch.
Small. You see that? I
How
don't think any
Swiss
other.
can it be?
I don't think any other country does kirsch.
But is it similar to like a grappa?
It's made out of cherries.
Yeah.
cherries.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Cherry alcohol, and it's very important to start your fondue, and also to dilute and the maizena. Okay, so let's say that I will put 2 spoons of maizena. Then we need Swiss kirsch.
Can open it without the okay.
Voilà. And then, it depends. Just to make,
Who you have to have a conversation with.
yes.
Depends on the day of the week.
It's Thursday, so then you create your little mixture. Voilà. Then with the garlic.
Yes. The one here. We have two.
I had tried this,
Well,
but doesn't need to be on the heat.
no.
Not yet. No.
Just it's like buttering the pan, but garlic in the pan.
So you just season it.
Garlicking.
Yeah.
Like garlicking the pan.
Oh,
That's what.
Then we need the most important ingredient is the cheese from l'Auberçon, fromagerie de l'Auberçon. So we have a mix, specially made from us, and we can.
This one is not blue, huh? Unlike the one you did once during.
No, it's not the blue cheese.
Watch days. It was during Geneva Watch Days, huh?
Yes,
Should I get
it's
it?
not the blue fondue, blue cheese fondue.
What's it?
It's cheesy.
And for fondue, you always need grated cheese. Or can you put like a whole block and let it melt? Or
That's more of a cut.
Yeah, but you're gonna be waiting for
a long time.
ages.
I'm assuming it also burnt, right? So this is
Yeah, that's what they're doing with raclette. Actually, it's compact, so they keep the block of cheese, and then you melt just the surface here. Rather than here, if you want it to melt, you need to
Je vais ce temps.
that part.
Pense déjà un petit peu. Moi, je commencerai par là. Un petit peu. Déjà.
So how often, I mean, like, do a typical Swiss family have fondue? Is it something that's on special occasion?
I would say, first of all, I mean, we eat fondue all year long. What most of us do is we do it during a day like this. You see, we're in June, or well, nearly in June. And that would be a perfect day to eat a fondue. It is a perfect day to eat a fondue. It's not too hot. It's rainy. So it's a kind of atmosphere
Vin blanc.
during which you would definitely eat a fondue. So we totally align with the rules. But there are no rules. I mean, I've seen people having fondue on the boat in the Caribbean. We had fondue, the 1st of August, usually I'm in south of France, but we have a raclette or fondue. We have
Thanks.
32 or 35, it's the National Day of Switzerland. So there's no rules. I mean, it's whenever you feel like it, as long as you have access to good cheese. That's the most. That's the only rule.
And good people.
And good people. Good people. That's a good one.
Otherwise, it's a long meal to have with someone. You don't.
Especially you're sharing the same plate. I mean, everyone dig in the same plate. So for sure, people are very important.
Very important also is a good Swiss fondant or Swiss wine, white wine, preferably, that you will help you to make your fondue a bit more liquid and more light.
What a professional.
It's very Master Chef-esque.
It's true. If all else fails, Pierre, like I see a calling for you.
This is so good. And I like the fact that you have this heater that is just freestanding with gas.
Yes, it's
It's very handy.
very helpful in this place.
Yeah.
She's,
With this tower.
because what we need to say about the tower is that all the stairs you have to you have between here and down. So anything you forget,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no water, no bathroom.
no.
So you better have.
The same way that the ways are not, sir.
And what is important also, that you have to turn your fondue always the same sense. You cannot mix like this or like this, because then
The same way a watch should go.
Clockwise,
Should always go
clearly.
clockwise.
better clockwise.
Jorg, were you born in Switzerland?
Yes, I was born in Geneva, in Merin. I grew up here the first 3 years of my life in a small village called Saint-Pré
Yeah.
in the Vaud region. It's about 30 minutes away from here. And then my family decided to go live in south of France, where we moved with all of the rest of the family, and I grew up there until I was 18.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, what
it was a different rhythm in south of France.
Yes, especially with the weather. It's true that you have about 300 days of sun. So that was a big difference from here. At
Clearly.
the same time, not far. All of the rest of the family was there, so it was easy for us to either take the
A generous ad.
planes or by car. Yeah.
Oh, so nice. Where about in the south of France?
In Monaco.
Oh, very nice.
Monaco. And, I'm very curious because obviously you come from a pedigree of, your father was an industry titan. People know him as perhaps one of the most famous and greatest watch designers. How has that helped your career and your progression in the industry?
Well, it not only helped, it just changed everything, because since my very early age, for me, there was no doubt that I would work into that industry. So I was attracted by it, not because my dad is part of the industry, because I just was really aligned with what he was doing, with what the industry was doing, with the creativity, because he's a designer, he's not a watchmaker. This industry really caught my attention very early, and I started to be, during summer works or summer jobs, I would be involved in something that you do at this factory, or I would go to Baselworld when I was 11, 12 years old. So I got into it very, very early, attracted by it very, very early as well. My aim was to be part of it and to travel, and that's what I'm doing today. So I think I knew very early what I wanted to do. Of course, would have probably been with him, but I chose my own path, and now I'm at the Bethune. But for sure, he had a huge influence on what I'm doing today. 100%.
And I guess also similar to your story. I mean, your whole
It's always
family.
interesting.
It's like not just your mom, but then your godmother, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
It's always interesting to hear about people's experiences working with family or in the same field, especially when your family's created a sort of a name in the industry. Because, so to give a bit of personal context, my mother started the company when I was 2-3 years old, and she's got this agency that organized events everywhere in the world mainly for the watchmaking industry, and she would take me everywhere with her. So I grew up learning about Zenith, Tagaya, the Monaco Grand Prix with Tagaya a few times. And then my godmother was the CMO of Tagaya for a really long time as well. And so, I mean, I remember when we were doing all this Zenith and Tag and everything, there's Antoine Pan was there, and Françoise was there, and Babin was there as well. So it was really like the whole family is involved.
Yeah.
And I originally wasn't sure whether or not I'd join, because I was afraid that I was never gonna be able to live up to what they've done, or that it would look too easy from the outside perspective. And it turns out, I think there's a lot of advantages and perks, but it's hard because there is a name to live up to, and you've got mentors that look at you and know that you've got potential and try to push you even further because they know it's possible, and they know this industry, so they know where you should go. And sometimes you want to make your own mistakes. Like, there's also this, someone telling you exactly where you're going to be wrong.
You should make your own mistakes. I think it's important, very important.
You've got someone in front of you that tells you this is the wrong thing to do, and you're like, maybe, but I get to try. And then it's wrong, and you're like, well, okay, I told you so. But yeah, it's so I'm living the beginning of this, and it's always nice to hear.
On a allumé, ça?
Oui. But has your father ever told you, like, what's one of the advice that you can remember still today that, sometimes I do something and I hear my mom's voice in my head.
In this world, never take yourself too serious. That's what he always told me.
Yeah.
He keeps telling me, and I don't take myself seriously. So to that I listened. And I think he is right. Being in this world, we should not be taking ourselves too seriously.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
On that note, let's not take that so seriously because it's actually serious.
Okay, are you doing the taste test?
It
is time to taste? Okay.
We can.
Well, I'm gonna sit. So someone like Jorg. Thank you.
So what is the proper way of eating this? Yeah.
Pardon?
What is the proper way to eat this?
But I think with a piece of bread, we prepare the bread. You let's say you break or you cut the bread in small pieces. Bon.
T'en as, Pierre?
Oui, j'en ai.
Yes.
And then you continue to remove clockwise. And just try. It's not too liquid. It's not too solid.
Perfect.
It's not making filament. Donc, I think
And it's homogeneous. It hasn't separated from the fat. You know, we were talking about how do you know if a fondue is not good, and it's because it's separated into the oily and the cheesy. And
Yes.
now
It looks perfect. Well done.
done.
So please, bye.
Time to taste.
Just
After you.
Oh, fantastic. So there's this this game that we play when you lose a piece of bread. You have a tendency of having to...
We have a sentence.
Exactly. So what is the sentence?
The perfect. Different in every case. For this case, he can be going down and up. To the tower.
already a few times. I think it has to do something with
The kirsch.
This with the kirsch, or it depends the region, but from where I come from, in Rome, whoever lose their pieces of bread in the fondue should be buying a new bottle of wine. That's basically the
What's
We can...
of course.
It's not too exotic.
Forget no. That's
Oh, let's not forget the most important...
Cornichon,
Cornichon?
onions.
Thank you.
Ah, they're great.
Thank you. Excellent. What's good is that by the camera, nobody knows if the fondue is
If it's good or not.
It's good, but we can pretend that the fondue is excellent.
Well, half a bottle.
And the stairs. You just
Okay, you lose your piece of that, but you have to take it back. Also, you cannot let it in
Gotta find
the
it.
plate.
That's a good start.
dinner.
I see your watch matches both the apron and the plate.
It's
Great.
purpose.
Absolutely.
That's why we took the inspiration to create the color of the
It's all premeditated, clearly.
Yeah.
But what are you wearing? What's on the rest today?
On my wrist today, so the new DB28XS steel wheels is the Bethune high polish titanium, grade 5, 38.7 millimeter, floating lugs, titanium and gold weight balance wheel. You have triple parachute system, twin barrels, all the Bethune innovation.
It's like you keep listing complications and like it's wow.
It's look complicated, but
It's not so. It's not about the complication. It's more about the innovation that's in the watch.
It's one of my favorite pieces.
But don't forget your piece of bread, Dylan.
It says not to get it.
It's very nice. It's very symmetric, which I think we find in a lot of the between pieces.
Yes, and this symmetry, but this is you speak about this shape, the delta shape, and it is a shape that you find everywhere in the architecture. You find this shape also in the nature, in the leaf of tree. You have the Gothic arc, also shape. So inspired by nature. Like, this plate is also inspired probably by nature, by cabbage. Cabbage, yeah.
Definitely
Definitely.
inspired by cabbage.
It's even more than biomimicry.
But no, so I was saying that it's actually one of my favorite watches in the lineup because it provides that real sense of what the true DB28 is in a much smaller and streamlined package. And at 38.7 millimeters, if I'm not mistaken, it's so wearable and it's so thin, and it's one of those watches that, because it's kind of monochromatic, if you put it on a different strap, it's a different personality altogether.
Yeah.
I just absolutely.
That's the watch of Jorg.
I have it on the pin strap, and as you say, because it's monochromatic, you can use any colors. And I wanted a really funky color, so I thought, why not? And I didn't want it on a pink strap.
Like a bubblegum paint.
Yes, correct. And we also have baby blue, we have green. Now we introduce so many different colors, so many different types of straps. We also have canvas. That's totally new for the Bethune because we used to do only to make only alligator straps. And to come back to the DB28 XS, I think it was more of a creative journey. Since we had the DB28, initially you had the moon phase indicator, but as you know, at the Bethune, the moon phase indication is spherical. So obviously, the watch would be thicker. So that's what happened. I'm good, thank you.
Nothing.
That's what happened in 2010, 2011, when the first DB28 was introduced. And after the DB28 with the spherical moon phase, we had the XP. And then the XP allowed the DB28 to be slimmer because we took out this sphere. And then only afterwards it was possible to make the XS because the proportions were working. Because if we had done that directly from the first version, you would have the thickness, but not the right proportion. I mean, you would have the size, a smaller size, but a very thick watch. And everything about the Bethune is balance. So if it's not well balanced, we won't do it. So I believe that's, I think to Denis' credit, I mean, we really managed to have a DB28 with all the codes of the DB28. I mean,
Absolutely.
you see everything in this watch reminds you of a DB28, but in a much smaller case. And this was really welcomed by the world, I would say. People say, it's good especially for Asian market. No, it's not good only for Asian market. It's good for all of these people that were intrigued, attracted by the Bethune, never really got into the brand because from far, or just looking at images, they would think it's too big. Well, actually, even a bigger DB28 is not that big because of the floating glass. But it's true that on an image, it might seem big.
Yeah.
And thanks to this new size of the DB28, we now are getting new people into the brand, and that's very exciting. So thanks to the DB28 XS.
So it was making sense to go smaller. It's like if your size is 42, you have to wear 42, but it's 40. You don't have to provide you 42. So then now we can add that set on all kind of wrist. On the smaller thing is we open also the brand.
So it opens the brand to new collectors, new ideology, and I think you must have also seen, trends have always been growing the last 6-7 years towards smaller watches. And I think this plays in, perfectly into that narrative. So it's congratulations, because it's truly one of my favorite brands. I think everybody knows how much I'm, in love with the brand.
Yes, you are known as the DB guy. Clearly.
But, for good reason. It's not because of anything, but because I'm just so in love with the design, the aesthetics, the way it fits, the form and the function. But of course, it's also the people that make the brand. And I think when you bring all that together, it's incredible. So what you guys have been able to create in the culture and the gatherings of collectors from all around the world, and you put them into the room and everyone is just so passionate. I think, that's what the true essence of independent watchmaking is today, and the true essence of the Bethune. So,
thank you. But it's what it is experience, the pleasure also that we have a lot of pleasure being and meeting our collector, spending time, sharing time with them, and it's not always not a way, not commercial, not too commercial. We're really passionate with what we do. Denis is a passionate watchmaker. Jorg is passionate also with the brand since he joined the Bethune in 2017. Even before he was a big fan. And I think all the people that joined the Bethune, we are really a strong team. We support each other very well, and we really love what we do. Probably can make the difference.
It's also one of the perks of having a, 300 washes a year, or
last year, I think we achieved, the goal was 350, now we achieved 335, something like this, yeah.
That the idea of having such a scale, it allows you to remain human and to keep a good relationship with your collectors, I'm guessing, because
Of course.
Big productions probably have a harder time to meet everybody.
I mean,
and to have
it depends also at the pace you're doing that. If you do it on a very organical way, let's say 10, 15%, and then Laurent and the factory is the head of production. He has time to get himself organized. He has time to get also people trained, get new people in if we need to. Then it's okay. But of course, if you would tell him tomorrow we need to make 600 or 700 watches next year, then first of all, you lose all this, the quality. I mean, the quality doesn't follow if it's not done in a natural pace. So that's what we've been doing since I joined. 8 years ago. That's what we've been doing step by step. Grow the numbers, but very naturally and organically without going crazy. In order to not meet the demand, but perhaps open new markets.
Okay. Drink too much and drink a too little. Please. So.
But especially for 350 watches in a year, you have a really wide variety of product variation. If you look at the history from the beginning, I remember from your Esseline book at the last pages, you've got all these watches that all look different, and
Yes.
I believe you're very well known also for your patents. So it's so impressive to have such a wide variety while having 300 watches in a year. It
Show you
makes it
that
very
there is a
comfortable.
passion, because we really want to push the limit of watch making, horlogery, without and all what we do. There is no commercial sense to make so many different calibers, so many different cases or watch, but really, as we really love and then you love to explore watchmaking, we go sometimes in many direction, but it's just because our intention, we focus more on the last second to gain, for example, something on the last second than to create a marketing line or something like this. So,
How do you ensure client or collector retention, given that you have so many different products offered?
So, but all these different collection came throughout 25 years of history of the brand. So, of course, the actual line is much more reduced. We cannot, we don't propose 30 or 40 different models today.
But to your point, it's true that a few years ago, 8 or 9 years ago, you would get to the Bethune. There were so many different shapes within the current collection that was overwhelming. It's true that this was reduced since 8 years, where the core collection of the Bethune today, it's 2 main lines: ADB25 for the classical side, and ADB28. So it's more legible to people.
And because I know a few brands have this dual offering where they propose something very avant-garde and something very classical, and I think that the brand's really known for both because you perform really, really well on all the fronts.
Yeah.
So how do you manage to so successfully meet the needs of these clients that, sort of, to me, the collectors of the Bethune kind of act like the collectors of MB&F. It's more of a tribe it's almost a cult of people that really have a relationship with you and are very engaged with the brand and eager to know more. So I wonder how did you manage to so successfully guarantee that there's a coherence within the brand?
I think people who really follow the Bethune, I'm not sure that it's not a tribe. Of course, the fact that we're very close to our customer, but I think they really come into the brand because also in terms of aesthetic design is something so different, but also in one way very classic. Is a very wearable watches. And the Bethune, this is, this watch is on one side very avant-garde, but it's like a second skin. It's so comfortable and also very discreet in terms of you can wear this watch. Is really humble, like the DB25 collection. It's something very, very classic, but you can see that it's something who came from a different aesthetic world. Just in the tagline of the Bethune, it's really easy. The Bethune is a watchmaking art in 21st century. In these two sentences, we have everything, because what we create is an art. Pieces are really aesthetic, very nice in terms of design. But 21st century means that we really on the top of the innovation, technology, and also probably a modern design. So we never recreate what was done in the past. We always try to push the limit a little bit forward, limit of design or limit of technical limit.
So that would be the red thread that kind of keeps everybody aligned. Yes. Right.
And it's really interesting because you've, like personally, Pierre has seen the industry from so many different angles, right? Mm-hmm. So if you could just, enlighten us a little bit about your past before you were at Bethune and how that has helped you kind of, craft the message today.
So let's say that my different career gave me a global vision, a 360 degree vision of the industry. I went from, I've been in a publishing business, being the co-founder of a GMT magazine. So during this decade, I had the opportunity to visit all the manufacturers, to meet all the CEO of so many brands, to be close of them, to read I don't know how many press releases, and to have access to 100 novelties. So in terms of product, I have a certain sense. Being in the retail business, being at Les Ambassadeurs in the past, allow me to know also what kind of model, what kind of watch can go easily on the wrist of customer, of collector, what are their needs. And if you can sell, if you create a coffee machine, maybe it's not really easy to go on the wrist. So probably you have what
commercially is successful,
what it could be successful.
You kind of sharpen your eye for what people will want. Or was it on la Rue du Rhône?
It was a Rue du Rhône, yes, in Geneva. And then being on the factory side, opened me the expertise or re-knowing what you can do to make your collector, your customer very, very happy also. So now it's really it's a global,
which I think puts you in a very unique position because I wouldn't say so many CEOs have had that experience to see it from all parts of the industry. Either they're the watchmaker and then they try to handle the commercial side.
Yeah, I have to stay humble. Maybe it's helping me, but many other CEO have many other skills that I don't have. So it was helping me with the Bethune, and I'm quite happy for the journey we are doing and everything we are doing together. But I will not say that I'm a super CEO because I have other skill. I have a few skills that's complementary to my job, but I think all the other CEO and brand they
have their own.
Yes, that's a beautiful way to put it.
In your career, do you think that there's a moment that you can think of that really redefined? Did you seize a special opportunity, or did you refuse something, or did you take a risk maybe that really redefined your career?
Well, my career, I was always taking risks because, even when I decided to become publisher and create the GMT magazine in the past from scratch, from nothing, none being even known in the industry, creating a magazine that now is probably the one of the two most famous magazine in the world. I always say that at the same level, GMT and Revolution, you have two magazines that we are on the top. Creating this with Bryce 25 years ago, it was a big risk because I remember that we start with the 4 Xerox copy, color Xerox copy, that I was going to copy quick, small Xerox to make a market and visiting the
Sounds like colors.
advertising.
I was very focused.
Sorry.
So then I hunting for ad from scratch, and it was a risk, and I was leaving my former employment for that. Then after leaving Les Ambassadeurs, go to a very comfortable situation to go to the Bethune, it was also a risk. Buying making the managing buyout at the Bethune was also a risk. So always, if you don't take risk, you don't drink champagne. So, cheers.
Cheers. I love that.
There's champagne.
Cheers.
But to answer your question, I remember really one moment that not redefined my career, but I used to be approached when I was Les Ambassadeurs. I will not say the name for a multi-brand chain, bigger than Les Ambassadeurs. And the manager was like a very nice guy with a huge belly, very proud of it. Maybe like I look today a bit belly now. Okay. But and was proposing me, a position, and I was looking at him, very sympathetic. I was going often for lunch with him, and I say, I will probably look like this guy in 20 years. Very self-confident, proud of myself. And I say, I really don't know. It's what I will be in 20 years. I really don't want to become like this.
Oh, wow.
I want to take risks. And then I call back Denis Flageolet and David Zanetta and say, you sure that you want me in? He say, yes, of course. I say, up. And because I was seeing me very confident, working on the own, proud of myself, having dinner with every day, but staying in the same place, not traveling across the world. Yes,
it was going to be this for 20 years.
Yes, I say I'm already pre-retired, and say I was 40 something. I say no, it's not what I want. And no, yeah. So you have that flash, no? And I really remember being sitting, at Lips restaurant. I guess.
Odd how you look back and you remember certain moments, and those are the things that really shape your life from there. And they'll become almost like pivotal moments in your life.
Yes.
Question: how did it happen with David Zanetta? It came once, and then you said no.
Even more than once. David Zanetta, I was at Les Ambassadeurs. Well, I knew Denis and David Zanetta since probably 2000, 2002, when we used to found the Bethune. It's the same moment that there was refounding Leroy, even before the Bethune. So at Leroy. Then in 2000, in 2002, there was founding the Bethune. And I was close with them because they need, of course, our support to write story, to communicate. And so we start to be very close. And when I joined Les Ambassadeurs in 2010, David Zanetta, I think he came three, 4 times.
Because you were saying no?
Yes, he said, I will be very, very happy if you join us. I said, David, it's too early or it's too late? Because too early because I just joined my position at Les Ambassadeurs. So, no, it's too early. I cannot because I need to make time. And it's too late because you had to make this proposition before I came here. No, I can. And he came a few times. Say, Pierre, les gens ne comprennent rien, il faut venir, s'il te plaît, prends les clés. Enfin, je vais non, David, je sais pas. And fourth time, la quatrième fois, the first time, this I call him as because after this dinner, I really didn't saw my future like I want.
Pictured yourself. This cannot.
And I call him back and say, "Are you sure this proposition is okay?" I say, "I have just one word." I told him, "Yes, one word." And so he came.
Is that something that you get back as feedback from clients or collectors? Like, is this something that they're actively looking for, the new innovation, how things are going to
But even if they didn't, doesn't matter.
the identity?
It's what the Bethune is about. It's what the Bethune is about. That's what Denis is about. More
But I'm
important.
guessing it kind of gathers,
Of course, but
this group of like-minded
this
people.
passion to innovation, to doing better, to following also the tradition of the industry is to innovate. So he keeps innovating. The Bethune keeps innovating. As a matter of fact, we have today about 9 or 10 patents. That's it. But countless innovations, because the tradition of the industry is also to move forward, but as a group, all together, not to keep everything for yourself. And there's a lot of innovations that are written book for the rest of the industry, made by the Bethune.
Very similar to
Open source.
like technical innovations that are.
Yeah, and that's very important for people to know, is that we don't have that many patents if you compare it to how many we could have.
So Pierre, I mean, you guys spend so much time together. Where did this love relationship, this passion for each other,
Romance.
where did this bromance begin?
I start long time ago, but it's difficult to speak openly about this romance because my wife becomes very jealous because I spend more time with Jorg than with her. Every day in office, almost whole weekend, 3 times we are together traveling around the world. So, but no, we met together more than 20 years ago, even before working together. We used to meet each other and to know and probably enjoying time already. So it became my friendship, and this friendship really becomes stronger and stronger toward the year. And when I'm with you, I'm not have impression that working hard. I have more impression that the spending time with a friend. That's very important.
I have exactly the same feeling, and I think in your life, or I was about to say professional life, but I could extend that to life. You have key people, that make an important switch into your life. So obviously there was my dad, but definitely there is Pierre. Because in my professional life, I was working, I started with my dad, but then at some point I've switched to the Bethune. We met actually, to answer the question, we met officially because I remember you when I was 15 at Baselworld, when you were coming on the booth during GMT, trying to sell some advertisements, with a little suitcase, on a trolley rolling. Hello, would you like to make some advertisement? And my dad was like, again, there's a advertising, especially during Baselworld.
I'm busy doing it.
So I remember him from then. Then obviously we did few exhibitions together. I was at the time working for another brand called MCT. And Pierre was at the Bethune. We met in Mexico a few times. We had a good time and so on. And while I was at MCT, I was not happy there at the end. I really wanted to move on. Maybe even perhaps change industry or do something completely different.
Where would you have gone?
Frankly, I didn't know. I think to this kind of decisions, rather you take some time and then
Medical.
Space.
To take the right decision rather than just jump on the first occasion. So I knew that I would not have jumped on the first occasion. That was for sure. And then some big management changes were happening at the same time at Manufacture Contemporaine du Temps. First of all, there was Denis Jacque, who was the former founder of MCT, coming back. So I said, oh, now we have a story. We have the main guy who's coming back. And then I hear Pierre as a new CEO. I said, Pierre, I remember from the trips we had, from everything. I said, okay, that's got to be fun. I'm going to stay. So I'll give it a shot. And which I did. And from then, we were both at MCT. We relaunched, I would say, the brand, and for some other reasons, they stopped it. But during that period of time, Pierre was still so much in love with the Bethune that he was trying to find a way to get back to the Bethune. He shared the story with me at the time. They were getting they were raising some money to get back to the Bethune. And he asked me if I wanted to be part of the team as a sales manager. Being from the industry, being in love with the brand, knowing how strong the foundation of this brand is. I mean, there's no doubt that we can do something even crazier. We are with the majority, because it's true that at the time the brand was in between. Let's not forget that with 2017.
Very different times.
Very different time, but it was a tough time also for the Bethune. So there was no doubt in my mind. Basically, first of all, doing it with him, and then doing it at the Bethune, because I was really in love with that brand, and that's how I got into the Bethune, basically, and that's how I met him officially at MCT.
Was your dad for it? Or what was your dad's advice when you said...
I did, frankly, for this kind of thing, I don't ask anyone.
Right, yeah?
It's like a gut feeling.
Yeah, I just go with it. No, I told him, but I didn't warn anyone with my professional choices. They're mine.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I mean, for me, it's because I work with my close friends and with my family and with godmothers, and Brice is the father of one of my closest friends. So I'm in an industry full of people who saw me grow up, and then and with whom I've become really good friends. And somehow, no matter what I decide to do, I know people will tell me if it's a terrible idea or if it's a great idea, or if they think it's okay but maybe not for me. Or everybody's got an opinion whether you ask or not.
That's why I think sometimes it's better, to go with your gut feeling, because your gut feeling is so strong and there's no doubt in your mind. Just go for it. That's my advice. Because then again, people start putting doubts.
Yeah.
Then becomes an issue. So.
And then they feel bad because it's too late, so they probably won't tell.
That's why people always, whilst majority of people want the best for you, they don't always know what's best for you.
That's a fair point.
So it's something that...
The good intentions, I'm not saying that.
No, exactly. There's good intentions behind it, but where you are in your headspace today, and if you have that personal connection with Pierre or with a brand or whatever it is, you have to kind of almost act on impulse. And
I agree.
At the end of the day, it's everything in life is a risk. Like you said, there's no risk, there's no champagne without risks. But you build that, and you deal with the repercussions after, and that's something you have to deal with yourself. So I think I'm assuming you haven't looked back since.
No.
I have no drink here.
Right, this is probably not the right business.
You drink a lot of champagne, so it paid off. This is the first time that I've actually feel like I've eaten during. Yeah, because otherwise you have like one small bite and you.
And we had the cook.
So if you do catering anytime, we're takers.
But the tradition usually is making fondue at your place, also in Saint-Pré. You have an amazing place.
Yeah, it's true. We do that as well.
Leo? In December, usually.
Raclette is but we don't cook.
And then after we jump in the lake.
Do it in the lake?
Yeah, in the lake there in December, yeah.
Oh.
We started that tradition during COVID.
Okay.
Actually. Because during COVID, we all had to hide, when you were more than 10 people. And we ended up like 20 people without Paris.
Don't say this today because we can be sued. No, actually, people are sued
Still
for fake COVID certificate.
Oh, I don't know. Well, sue us.
Together,
We were 20 people during COVID.
Yes,
And yeah, that tradition started from there. And we did so many lunch, so many dinners, so many afternoons, endless afternoons. They were actually amazing memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a good time.
COVID was a interesting, fun,
No, it was.
you know.
For me, actually looking back at it, COVID is one of perhaps, one of those pivotal moments where in my career, in my professional life, because I remember very distinctly, but I was living in India at the time. I was spending a lot of time there. And then, I was there from 2017 to 2020, and then COVID came and India was in a really bad state. Like people were just dying in the streets. So my mom was like, listen, then you have to come back. And I went back home to Cyprus. And at that point, I had like this real retrospective outlook on life and what I wanted to do. And, watches was always a passion. And that's, I had known you from a long time before that, when you were at MCT. And I think that's one of the moments where things really shifted in my mind. And I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to get into watches full time. And we had that conversation and we said, well, why don't we do something together?
I remember that conversation very well.
And I look back and, people ask me, like, how did I get into the industry and so forth. And it was really also you and Pierre that was really driving me and pushing me to kind of follow my passions. So I'm forever grateful for both of you for that.
The child of DB.
No, please. It's really, I mean,
To you and your success. Oh, thank you so much. It's
happened naturally.
not so much champagne yet, but soon, hopefully.
And Lara, to your success too.
Thank you.
No, about Rouge, the Bethune got into Rouge I think 2 years ago, into the business, and Denis Flagery, more importantly, got involved into Rouge, because I think the key there is really Denis, because his aim since the beginning was always innovation. But it's true that with watches, and I'm not saying that's a problem, but it's a much smaller scale. And it's true that with objects, you also have much more freedom, to take the space, whether it's creatively or even mechanically. And I think that really appealed him very early. Plus, being from Sainte Croix, where Rouge is from, there was an opportunity to do it. So he did it. And now they're working with Clara on rethinking Rouge with the same idea, but not essentially linked to music.
Oh, wow.
Meaning that you could reimagine the sounds, mechanically, talking not about music but sounds, organic sound perhaps, recreate the sound of fire mechanically, the sound of the wind, the sound of the rain, sound of the sand, the sound of the waves, all of these sounds that we are aware of and that we know, and that also calm us down, because the sound of the waves is amazing, fall asleep. So that's what's happening.
Sound of silence. Very important. Just a piece of food. Yeah.
I thought that was a sign for me to shut up.
To me, there's a real emotion when you're in front of a piece for real in real life. It's not, the product is, of course, it's beautiful and you can tell from looking at it through a video, but in person it hits differently. And we met this man who specialized in feathering birds, which I thought was a wonderful job. What do you do for a living? I feather a little bird manually.
Yeah.
Stunning.
And
who knew that? There's only in watchmaking that you have specialized jobs like this.
Yeah, he's the only one doing it. Plus, he's doing with real feathers.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, it's something that you cannot do anymore. So he has this amount of stock of real feathers that can use until
you can't.
Until you can't. Exactly. Yeah.
And then they told us also about the fields, the wheats that they got from the next door field to make the pieces that kind of mimicked the wind.
Yes.
And then,
Yeah.
so you've got all these little real weights that are,
Yes.
I think, sprayed with gold.
Yes, correct.
And they're Saint Croix weights.
Yeah. It's not about yeah, correct.
Religieuse is
So there is the religieuse. Or antique, maybe. Is it? Oh, no.
you did it very well. Huh?
So now it's time to share the religieuse.
It's like a biscuit, cheese biscuit.
To make up
Fish shop is a tradition.
for your lost bread.
So, et franchement, t'as fait ça, Pierre?
Mais magnifique.
Non, mais c'est incroyable comme t'es un professionnel.
Thank you very much.
Elle a été bien épaisse en plus, merci beaucoup.
So you want to try the pioche?
So hard. Yeah, so.
You smell that and you reconsider.
Wow.
But,
Le bon. Hein?
that's the reason you have fondue.
Yeah. It's a reward.
You need
When that you finished it.
Your stomach to take it.
Yeah. Oh, we see that behind me.
So, but my last confession, we were speaking about Swiss traditional Swiss fondue. I have to confess that originally I'm from Belgium. So, I don't know anything about fondue. But, no. So, but by the time, I'm living in Switzerland since I'm say 14, 15. So, I had the time to learn how to do it.
Well, you could have fooled
Oh, yes.
you fooled us.
Yeah,
Clearly.
So I have one last question to ask you before we go upstairs for dessert. And both of you are watch lovers. And, I think it's difficult, being involved with a brand to then also wear watches from other brands. But I know you have an extensive collection. I mean, if there's one or two watches that you'd like to share, maybe a little bit of a story about.
After, please.
Maybe you start.
Half. So, yeah, there's a couple of watch that I'm really attached, but I don't know, probably what I've actually in my collection, I have my first really, let's say, important watch that I still keeping in my collection. It was the Royal AP the Kasparov. That probably I acquired in 2004 or something like this. Same year, I had my first jaune chronomètre souverain in platinum. Beautiful, that I still have it today. For all this watch I'm not wearing. And I have, many de Bethune, you can imagine. Few jaune, Bulgari, Cartier. So probably yes, even Rolex, because many people, it's not through the really watch aficionados from independent. Rolex maybe is not the most popular, but I really love it because it's really a daily watch, and if I live anywhere in the world for holiday, I will probably take a Rolex with me because it's very convenient and can do every activity without any worries. So no.
No, I agree with you. With I build events, so to me, like the Rolex is always there.
Yeah. Harry Winston from the Magnus Opus. Yes, the Opus Area, not an Opus, but a time zone from that time. That was still very elegant, beautiful watch. You have a Beauvais from many. Yes, as I was passionate by watch, being a publisher and a long journey collecting watches. Jorg.
I wouldn't say I'm a big collector. I have all the watches well, they still belonging to my dad, that my dad designed. And I would say that my favorite as a daily would be probably the Tagoya Kirion. I would say that would be the one that I prefer, because to me, really from my point of view, it's a timeless design. I mean, this watch is about 20 years old, but I think that's easily something that Tagoya could relaunch today. And besides, the latest watches that I bought was the Bethune, and I think the most important watch that I have is probably the Stradivarius, reflecting the birth of my daughter. Yeah, I think that's the most special watch that I have today. Yeah.
Because the stars are mapped to...
Correct. The stars exactly reflect the moment she's born. Under the stars, basically.
Under the sky where she was.
Yeah. Basically, under the city she was born. Yeah, at this moment. So I mean, that's how precise we go. It's not only about the location and the date, but it's also about the time. And I think the time makes all the difference in the birth, and that's actual sky.
Astrology.
So yeah, it is that, but at the same time, it's something that people don't know about, only you do, and it's really you if you want to share the story of the watch. But that to you, whenever, especially we travel so much, when I'm wearing this watch during my trips, it just brings me home a little bit. So it's very, very special to me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, what a view. That's insane.
Wow.
Very patriotic.
Very patriotic.
So this is the highest point in Geneva.
The top floor, you can see, if you look around, you are above the Gulf Colony, and you can see the
In the
Mont
trees.
Blanc, Salève,
You have the mole about there, right?
and there you have the mall.
So we have some meringue. The most important, and not the meringue or the fruits, is the crème double from Molaison. Sometimes they do it when they're like freshly made. They still a bit hot and melty in the inside. It's crazy.
So what other things do you have in the Bethune? Apart from cheese and meringue. I'm not going to pronounce that again.
Besides food, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many different things besides tours. I mean, you have, first of all, I would say you have the people. You have genius, like, of course, we spoke about Denis Flageolet, obviously.
Ouais, Sainte-Croix is très important, very important, because you also is where the famous disc player torrents were made.
Okay.
Torrents. You have the camera Bolex, the typing machine Hermes Precisa. All these brand and products were built and came from the Sainte Croix region. And you have the automat
Genius.
Genius. I let you.
François Junot. François Junot, that we meet quite often. I mean, what's interesting about François Junot, beside his persona, is where he lives, where he works. He has a house in Sainte Croix in front of the oldest Rouge factory. And I've been to crazy places, but this is probably the most amazing place that I've been. I mean, he has all the projects that he ever done, all the prototypes. You would just go in a room where you would see a horse built out of a wood. He's been studying for years the movement of the horses in order to recreate it mechanically. Wow. So, and you have all of these sketches, you have all of these projects that he made around birds that he did with Jacques. But you have the singing birds that are quite famous. Rouge also did the singing birds. But he tried to do it on a very small scale, actually, to integrate it into a watch. And you have this, I believe it's Jacques, where at 6 o'clock you have a bird, a singing bird. That was developed by him. He made a lot of things also for Bulgari. Same goes to, again, Jacques. He invented this this machine that actually recreate your signature mechanically.
Wow.
As an automaton.
Crazy.
Because most of his automaton that he made actually they reproduce humans that are writing or they're moving. You've got the eyes and everything, and that came from here. I mean, he recreated this plate, made out of metal. I think it was titanium, that mechanically registered your signature, and you put it on a piece of paper. And it signs for you mechanically. And I thought that was amazing. And the bad side of the story is that they only made 7 of them. And I think that's something that everyone should know about.
Forgery.
Yes. And that comes from him. So I believe that if you ever have time, both of you, in Sainte Croix, that's definitely a place that you should take the time to visit, because you would easily spend one day. I mean, he has 4 floors of things that came out, things that didn't come out, that things are not finished, prototypes from the 90s, but you got like ideas for centuries to come within one house. Wow. It's quite amazing.
Then I'm hearing it's time to drive to
Yeah.
Sainte Croix.
Yes,
It's definitely coming.
Yeah.
We should definitely do. I've been fortunate enough to do a manufacturer tour, both de Bethune and of Rouge. But for our viewers, if they wanted to get in touch and to, what is the process of somebody being able to actually have the opportunity to visit?
Well, I think it's very. There's nothing formal. I think it more gets from contact to contact. So just whenever you would like to get there, maybe you tell Pierre or you tell me, then we'll sort something out. But they're really talking about people that are not trying to hide themselves. He's there because, of course, it's quiet, but he's so welcoming and he's so happy to share his passion, especially to people that are passionate about what he does. So he would definitely take the time to do it. I'm talking about him, but there is Vianney Alter, there is Nicolas Cour, and others. Because there are others. There's also what's interesting is the next generation that's coming up as well. They go to Sainte Croix because they know that it's a nest of this kind of genius, and they are coming there to learn as well. So there's also this transfer of knowledge that is happening right now. You would clearly see it in a place like the factory of the Bethune, where at every key location, every key job, you have now a younger generation trying to starting to learn in order to continue the journey. And that's what Sainte Croix is about: is passion and passing this passion to the next generation.
I do want to know more about this bracelet that you told me when I removed my...
From your pasha, actually, that's as a little anecdote. It's true. I remember this watch very well because my dad designed not the watch, but he designed this strap. I think that at some point they were looking for a new shape of a metallic bracelet, and my dad designed that one.
It's very appealing. It's one of my favorite features in the watch. So I'm surprised and happy to learn.
I'll pass in the message.
So that's a very beautiful way to wrap up this episode.
Yours.
Cheers. Thank you so much for inviting us in your beautiful, unique venue, clearly, on the highest point.
It was a great pleasure. Welcome you. Thank you so much. So thank you to you.
Thank you.
To you, Jorg.